Welcome to our mid-innings coverage on WION World of Cricket. I am Isha Hanspal. Now, this week, the halfway mark of the ICC ODI World Cup is extremely crucial. In the backdrop of the game being played at the Arun Jaitley Stadium today, on the one hand is the most successful team of all the World Cup so far, Australia, who started off with a lackluster performance in the World Cup this time around, but they won their last two matches confidently. They are looking to secure their spot in the semis, and winning today's match is very important, therefore, in their scheme of things. On the other hand is a team looking to make their mark in international arena. The Dutch have shown potential, played with confidence throughout this World Cup, have never won a game against the Aussies. Their captain is an Australian citizen and have caused an upset par excellence, defeating the Proteas. Now, going into the match, Mitchell Marsh says they cannot take any team, especially Netherlands, lightly. At the end of the innings, Australia, who had elected to bat first after winning the toss, they posted 309 of the 50 allotted overs that they had. Warner 104 of 93, Marnus Labuschagne 62 of 47, and Glenn Maxwell strike rate of 246.1, post 106 of 44, the fastest ODI century in the World Cups, breaking Aiden Markram's record, the fourth fastest ODI century overall. Dab Watmore with me here, laughing and looking at that innings, and of course Nikhil Mathur also looking very impressed. What do you guys think? Is it the pitch? Is it the Delhi wicket? How do we always see these runs being posted all over the parts?
Well, this World Cup is renowned for the runs scored, and I'm laughing because it was just a total entertainment. I'm very, very happy for him because there are a few of these innings that Maxwell comes and he just plays a rash shot and gets out, but you got to take the good with the bad, I guess. But today was an incredible innings of entertainment and sheer class in some of those shots, sheer audacity too. Some of them that he played reverse sweeping for sixes, but it was a wonderful thing to see, particularly if you're an Australian supporter.
Nikhil, Dav just made it sound like a relationship. You take the good with the bad. And I remember I remember us discussing right before we came in for the show, you don't really know which Maxwell we are about to get. What happened today?
Exactly.
Were you expecting this Maxwell to show up?
No, as you said, you don't know which Maxwell is going to turn up. I remember in the first match when he was promoted to the number third spot, he came and tried to whack the first ball for six, gone for a golden duck, but now 106. And as Dav was saying, I was just watching first reverse sweep 6 and then a glance for 6 and then he would hit it hard. He has all the shots in the bag, and I think he's a proper 360-degree player, and when he is on song, I think he is the best in the current ODI format. I think what an innings, and he's bowling well as well. And I was just seeing his career stats as well. I think we can fire that graphic as well. His average is 33 and strike rate is above 125.
Yeah.
I think that's a good combination for a batter who comes down and he can change the match single-handedly. No one is talking about David Warner. He also scored a century, but Glenn Maxwell has taken over everyone.
Think about that. 106 of Warner made 104 of, if you can just fire the scorecard right here, I think Warner posted about 104 of 60 odd balls, if I'm not mistaken.
104 of 93.
104 of 93, I beg your pardon.
One guy took 93 balls, the other one took 40. Amazing, really.
Yeah, and Warner also seems to have got his mojo back from the last game.
Well,
David Warner.
Warner, yeah, absolutely. He was he turned the corner a couple of games ago, and he's continued on. And I tell you, he's third on the all-time run scorers in this tournament now. He's overtaking Rohit Sharma.
Yeah.
So, and there's still a few games to go. He might just go all the way. You never know.
Which Australia are we seeing now? We started off this game and there was a lot of discussion around Travis Head. who Travis Head replaces. Possibly Travis Head plays today. We could possibly see the likes of Marnus Labuschagne go out. If we can just fire the playing 11 from Team Australia, if we have that yet. What Australia came to the party today.
Yeah.
Eventually, Marsh impressed again after the match that he last played against Pakistan.
I reckon, Isha, we should try and maybe put this into perspective a little bit. Like at the start of the tournament, we're a little negative against Australia. They played on, a challenging pitch or two. They made a bad decision at the toss in Lucknow. They should have batted first. They didn't. So we were all sort of, a little negative. Now they're doing really well, but Chinnaswamy, Delhi, I still reckon we need to keep the lid on it a bit and be more consistent. Sure, it's wonderful to see and everyone gets excited. But there's also, sterner tests to come in different conditions. So, but at the moment, they're doing what's been asked of them, and they're doing it in style. Know. But I think when you're looking down the track, we need to reassess every game, not just think, oh, it's going to happen like we're seeing it today.
Yeah. Would you also wait and watch, or have you already given your vote of confidence to Australia?
I think they are now firing all the cylinders. The openers fired, David Warner back-to-back centuries, and Stephen Smith, who haven't had a great 2023. He was just averaging 25.13, and among all the players that were present in this ODI World Cup at number 3, his record was the second worst. But today he scored 71. So you have, I think that's a good problem to have. Stephen Smith, Marnus Labuschagne, Travis Head. Who are you going to drop? Who are you going to pick?
Yeah.
But I think this is Australia. They are playing like record 5-time champions, and I think their bowlers, if they they can restrict Netherlands to anything around 200, their NRR will also go up.
Yeah. Dav, before we got in here, you weren't still very sure about Australia, especially you weren't extremely sure about Marsh before we got in here. Nikhil has his doubts about Smith, as has been his performance in the first few games that he played in the World Cup. Warner also did not start off very well. What do you make of a possible addition of Travis Head? He comes in, who goes out?
Well, Travis Head, if he's available, it appears as though he'll come straight in. But a word of warning, Stokes also had to wait a while. He was injured, came back in, flopped.
Yeah.
I just hope there is, people are not thinking, oh, our troubles are over. Travis Head is back. It's not going to happen. He'll take a little bit of time as well, I would think. If you're an Australian supporter, you're thinking, hope not, right? But I think it'll take a little bit of time. So whose place does he take? At the moment, I would think this guy here, that's on the graphic, he had a good outing today.
Yeah.
But, he had to really flex the muscles to get that score to 62 and a strike rate, more importantly, of 131. But normally his strike rate's a little bit further down. Steve Smith's the other guy I reckon that may be discussed, but he's got so much experience, and him being on the field, adds some important to everybody on the field.
So you still keep Smith and drop Labuschagne?
Yes, I would. Yeah, because then Smith would have to come down at number 4, and if it's a really good start, then he can float. He can keep coming down. But I would go for Smith. I'd have Marnus Labuschagne carrying the drinks.
I'll come to you also, Nikhil, in a bit as to who you would like to drop. But if Smith comes to number 4, then Marsh drops to 3. But as figures would have it, Marsh is not at his best at number 3. We have his numbers right here. His overall average.
That's number 3, is it? Oh no, that's versus Netherlands.
That's those are not his overall numbers. His overall numbers opening are better than his playing at number 3. So would you still take the risk of bringing back a recovering Travis Head, ruffling the feathers up the order, which somewhat looks like a winning combination, looking at the couple of games that Australia have played, still bring in Travis Head, drop Marsh to a position where he hasn't looked the brightest? Would you still do that? And drop a Marnus Labuschagne, who hasn't been the worst of the lot. Let's just put it like that.
He's annoying sometimes, But today was good. No, but I think Mitch Marsh, on his day, is good. He had a birthday, didn't he, when he got 100? Is that his birthday? Well, that's his present, But he's a good player.
Those are
Please
his
don't get me
records,
wrong.
yeah, his career record as an opener.
I'm just not convinced in these conditions, he's consistent enough, and he's got out again today.
Yeah, those stats say that number 3 is not very consistent.
And that's at number 3, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
12 matches and 267.
22.25.
Yeah, that's not great.
So would you still bring head?
I was repeating what the selectors were saying. That head comes in, this guy goes to 3, and probably Labuschagne will go out. But I'm not convinced. I don't think he's consistent enough. Smith at 3, I think is still okay. And we keep the order a little bit the same. So
So I don't get it. You bring in Travis Head. You will bring in Travis Head, or would you just?
Labuschagne will have to stay if that's the case, right? If Mitch Marsh is not going to play at all,
So
then
there
you
is
have
a
little
possibility of you dropping Marsh and keeping Labuschagne.
That's an option. That's an option. You need to weigh up, all those runs or lack of runs he's got, and you weigh it up with Labuschagne to see which way, what is the best for the team on the day, depending on the surface and depending on your opposition.
So Smith's experience versus
Yeah.
Labuschagne's performance of late,
Yeah.
Labuschagne wins there.
Yeah, and also Mitch Marsh, to me, I don't know if I'm being the only one here to be critical, but it's not quite consistent in these conditions.
But I think
What do you reckon, Nickel?
But 100 and a 50, I think it's difficult to drop Mitchell Marsh because, on current form, because Steven Smith is being there on his reputation. Labuschagne has better numbers in this World Cup, but he scored a century and a 50, and he's, I think, the second run scorer after David Warner. So I think the management will stick with him, because you cannot drop a player like in 5 matches scored 100 and a 50. It's difficult for him to, get the boot in this playing 11.
At number 3?
At number 3, I think at number 3 is a decent player because Steve Smith.
Who are we talking about here?
Mitchell Marsh.
Mitchell Marsh. He comes at number 3.
Yeah.
Travis Head comes in.
Travis Head.
And
So
who do you
David
drop?
Warner, Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh, Steve Smith, Glenn Maxwell, English can be your floaters, and
English,
So who do you drop then?
then Manas Labuschagne. Because he wasn't even in the
okay.
squad at the beginning. The provisional squad didn't have Manas Labuschagne. He only came in, when there was injuries and he did well against South Africa. And because I feel like Steven Smith and Manas Labuschagne brings the same thing to the table. They are not power hitters. They can score runs, but the strike rate isn't that great. So I think Marsh, for me, 150 seals the spot for him.
Okay. So Dav says it's going to be Marsh, who he would
Marsh
possibly
will
drop,
play.
and you say it's going to be Labuschagne
Yeah.
who would possibly get dropped. Got it. Now, what about Cameron Green and the dilemma between Cameron Green
Stoinis.
and Marcus Stoinis? Who goes? We're talking about this because this is a very, very crucial game for Australia. We will come to Netherlands also in just a short bit, but Australia, because if they win this one, they have 4 relatively achievable fixtures lined up for them, and they can secure that spot, that number 4 spot on the lineup. So between Marcus Stoinis, his 2 wickets in the last game against Pakistan, and Cameron Green, we've been waiting for him. Who would you keep and who would you drop?
They're little different types, although people say like for like. Stoinis is very, very strong and can clear the boundary. Cameron Green is probably more of a technician with the bat. I'm not sure you need a technician all the way down there where he bats. When it comes to bowling, Green is a lot quicker, no question. But this Stoinis also can be a little expensive, but he has a habit of picking up a wicket or 2. So these are the things that needs to be discussed quite deeply. But I'd be leaning towards Marcus Stoinis, but he gets these niggles too often, he's such a strong guy and fit fellow and gets a little niggle, take a day off,
Okay. Nikhil, very quickly, your vote between the 2, and then we go over to Netherlands.
I agree with Dav. Marcus Stoinis gets the edge because he has that knack of picking that odd wicket, and he can clear the boundary easily. I think Cam Green was the understudy, and now he has lived up to his reputation. But I still feel Marcus Stoinis is their man. I think that's what Australia.
Yeah, you believe that he has lived up to his reputation.
Yeah, he has.
Given this World Cup.
Yeah.
Okay. Going over to Netherlands,
yeah.
amid the wickets were Logan van Beek, Bastille, Arjen Dutt. In fact, Logan van Beek says before going into this match that they do not take any game lightly. They are going to play with equal amount of confidence and energy and hard work. They put in the same amount of hard work in all the games that they've played so far, and they will continue to do so, and which is reflecting in their style of play that we've seen in the World Cup so far. What does it look like for you, Dav, going into the second innings? Do you think Netherlands can yet again cause an upset? And I will call it an upset because Australia seem to have gotten back their form. So would you say that they...
No, they can't. No? They can't do that. In fact, they're a long way short. They will be a long way short of it. But I have to say, you know, Netherlands tried really hard. There's lots of good things to be, you know, to take from it for them. It's just that they came across a group of guys who are really strong and they blew them away. Just the odd bad fielding, that's about it. Other than that, they tried really hard, but they came across two guys who really smacked them around the park. One just had a record, a World Cup record. So, you know, it wasn't easy for them today. But when you look at Baz de Leede, he's got 9 wickets now.
Yeah.
He got 4 today, and then Arjen Dutt, who was doing a really good job over the games leading up to this, again was given the ball to some good players, and he got knocked around a bit early for the first time, but still picked up a couple of wickets. Yeah. So he's on 9, I think. Yeah. He's on 7. Sorry, 7. Yeah.
Nikhil, can they chase that total?
I think someone needs to be David Warner and someone needs to be Glenn Maxwell in that team if you have to, you know. And a word of David Warner, you know, we Indians, I think every Indian loves it the way he scored the century and did this push-pass celebration, you know, apun nahi jhukega. And, you know, he has taken it to the World Cup, you know, back-to-back hundreds. He loves Indian culture and Indian flat pitches. And David Warner, it's a story made in heaven.
There are a lot of Netherlands fans in India as well. It's not just Australia. They seem to be coming close to as being the favourites among a lot of viewers. Netherlands, Afghanistan is the underdog story, and they have potential.
Nikhil and Isha as well. Just going on how the colour of your dress.
I don't think the camera can really catch it. I kind of wore a shade that was in between yellow and orange in the spirit of, you know, support for both the teams. But I think it just looks like I'm supporting the Dutch today. But I'm actually supporting both the teams, believe it or not. Very quickly, Dav, can we possibly take a few comments? Nikhil, if you
I've got to go soon, but I will. Happy to do that.
Dav has to run, but let's not disappoint our viewers. It's no more with what more. Let's at least take a couple of comments so that then you can catch Dav at 6:30, our broadcast of WION World of Cricket at 6:30. He's going to be here. But very quickly, let's take this one from Johan, who says Netherlands can surprise everyone. They've got a fighting spirit, and that should not be underestimated.
No, that's got a wonderful fighting spirit. You know, I really take my hat off to them, you know, because I know the efforts that they put in to get here. And every game is hugely experience for them. So I'm very pleased for them to be in this tournament, and they'll probably learn a lot also from your defeats. And this is going to be probably a biggish defeat, I'd say.
Okay. I will end this broadcast on a bit of positivity from Emma, who says Netherlands team has been improving steadily. Both teams have shown great cricket recently. We agree with her, don't we?
Surely, yeah, absolutely. Everyone, you know, likes Netherlands, just like New Zealand. They're a favourite team.
Absolutely.
And they would like to see them win more, I guess. But I doubt it today, though.
Okay, gentlemen, that's all we have time for in this edition of World of Cricket on our mid-innings show. Make sure you catch Dav in our 6:30 broadcast of the World of Cricket edition. And we'll be back again soon. Possibly not soon, who knows? It's a game of cricket in the post-match show as well. Bye.